So now that it's wintertime and it's cold as hell outside, maybe it's time to get your footwear sorted. And I know it's hard to put those sneakers back on the shelf and change it up, but hopefully I've got a better option for you guys. Boots! I am talking big ass chunky winter boots. I'm talking tanks for your feet. And I want to show you guys one of my latest pickups because I'm just super excited about them. I think they look awesome and we're gonna get into all of it today. Boots have been like this big trend recently over wintertime, of course, but I'm talking like high fashion specifically and a lot of like super chunky boots. I mean, Bottega Veneta, Balenciaga, Alex, all of those big brands. Now imagine, like me, a lot of you guys are thinking along similar lines, like I'm not about to pay over $1,000 for some of those things, and also some of them just looking insane, like the Balenciaga croc boots. There's a bunch of other boots I can insert that just look insane and stuff you would probably be like, yeah, maybe I'm gonna take a step back and let's find an entryway to this boot game. Now both of those things are valid and partially why I didn't just jump into the boot game buying some of the craziest pairs, and I think I've got the perfect pair if again you're like me and you're kind of on the edge. So this is the boot that I'm talking about, and the box is heavy, the box is super large as well. So let me just pop the top and show you the pair. So the brand is called Axel Arigato, and there's a few things that I want to tell you about that brand, but let's take a look at what you get in the box. You get some extra insoles, and this kind of material that they put on here is super soft. I'm gonna have a fun time walking on that. And of course, like most luxury brands, you get a little bag, I guess, to chuck your boots in. Feels very, very nice material. I'm not even too sure what that material is. And then of course the boots themselves. Let me pull one of these out. And again, one of the first things you're gonna notice is how freaking heavy these things are. This is the Axel Arigato Cryo Boot. But I just really like the way that they look. Like I saw them in store when I went to London and I was like, yo, I've gotta get me a pair of these things. So again, these are called the Cryo Boots and they come in a bunch of different variations. Like, hey, maybe you're not a huge fan of this military style. They also do a Chelsea boot. They also do a bunch of other colors. Maybe you're not feeling the blacked out look. Well, they got a bunch of different options. Someone actually mentioned that these kind of look like Yeezy boots. Like you remember the 950s back in the day, and yeah, now looking over them, they kind of do. They got this similar like all over rubber for the main foot portion, and then this kind of military style on top. Again, very similar to those 950 Yeezys. If you've never heard of Axel Arigato, they are actually a Swedish brand. I actually thought it was going to be Japanese or something like that. Essentially, to break them down in a nutshell, they're kind of like a luxury fashion designer brand, but at affordable prices. However, it definitely isn't super cheap, so it kind of finds a nice little midpoint, which is kind of a place I like to be in. Now again, like I said, their prices aren't ridiculously cheap at all. Like these are £305. That works out to be roughly $400 US. And when you put them in the category against some of the other ones, yes, that is more affordable, but at the same time, it is still £305 for this pair of boots. Thing that actually made me really like these. There's one thing seeing them in store, but a completely different thing actually seeing them on foot. So I guess the first thing is like learning how to walk in these because they're so heavy. Like I'm talking ridiculously heavy. In fact, I'll enter exactly how much they weigh because I will chuck these on a scale. Now, one of the main things that actually drew me to this pair of shoes is the rubber foot area. I'm not too sure what you call this, but it is essentially the entire place where your foot is made of solid rubber. Now, what that does is not only make these waterproof, very durable, and very easy to clean, but it also looks great if you want to wear baggier trousers that cover the military section up with all the laces and everything like that. So there's kind of like two looks you can get with this pair of shoes. You can cover it up with trousers, and in my opinion, when you just have this rubber portion on display, it's a little bit more of a dressier vibe. However, when you expose the upper and really make it look like a boot, it looks a little bit more like you're ready to take a stroll in the great outdoors, is what I'm trying to say. So you got the boot action, and then you got the little bit more of a dressier vibe. I really like how they look like futuristic, but at the same time, they still look like a military boot. They have a really nice mixture. Like it's not too crazy, but at the same time, it's super different and something very interesting for your rotation. Definitely different different from something like your run-of-the-mill leather boots like Doc Martens or something like that. It does have that little flair of something spicy in there, which I do really like. Now again, like I said, materials for the entire bottom of this boot is all just straight up rubber, so there's not too much to go over. It's very thick, it feels very durable. However, the upper is a little bit more standard on what you would find with, I guess, a lot of different military style boots. This is all a woven mesh material. Now there are some added overlay materials like around the back and of course the eye stays around the front, which is, I guess, a bit more of a synthetic material. Definitely doesn't feel like leather. And I guess my one gripe with this pair of boots is the squeakiness of them. Like, listen to this. I'm hoping it kind of wears in, or maybe I just get used to it. And if you were a little bit more apprehensive like me to jump into the boot game, I think this is a really solid option. You don't have to sell a kidney to get yourself a pair of Balenciagas. These come in much more affordable, and I think a really solid, well-made pair of shoes, and I'm looking forward to throwing into the rotation this winter time. But that pretty much wraps it up. Let me know what you guys think of the Axel Arigato Cryo Boot and just boots in general. Is that something you're rocking over the winter time? Are you putting your sneakers on the shelf for a little bit? Let me know down there. But of course, thank you so much for coming through, hanging out for yet again another video. Thank you for liking, commenting, and of course subscribing. Catch you guys in the next one, but until then.